All right, so we're live over on the YouTube side of things. And once we hit that 20-second delay, we'll know if we got the audio situation sorted out. And so far, so good. So for folks that are on YouTube, if you, thanks Ari over in Zoom. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, if you would like a more hands-on experience, so to speak, then you can go over to Patreon and become a TG-ENBY project patron and get access to all of our classes via Zoom. So, and I say all of our classes because there are more classes coming. I am still working on nailing down all those little details, but if you want to be the first person to know, the first people that get that information are our patrons. So if you become a patron, you get to find out before it's announced on social media or announced here that that things that are going to be happening. So stay tuned, those of you patrons that are here via Zoom, for some info coming this week. I've got some exciting news for you, and I can't wait to fill you in. So today, this evening, we are going to be working on some restorative stuff, some ground-based stuff. I've been engaging in a lot of very challenging conversations today, and which I think all of us are. If you're not engaging in challenging conversations these days, then I'm kind of curious where you live. It's probably not in the United States. So I'm feeling a need to kind of like take some extra support from the ground, from the earth, and move my body in that way. So today's class is going to be structured kind of like that move and restore structure that we've done before. We're going to stay on the ground. I'll give different variations. Those of you that are here in Zoom, if you want any help with me looking at you on the video and giving you some feedback, or you want to ask a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask, or pop it up in the chat here. So all that said, let's get started. Grab some water. I've got my water here waiting for me, a towel if you'd like it, a mat if you'd like it. I'm going to be practicing in my bare feet. Please feel free to wear shoes if you like, or socks, or whatever. Let's get moving. Let's come to a standing. And like usual, we're going to start in our standing joint prep. So starting at the head with our head tilts, tilting your ear towards your shoulder, and then exhale and switch. So this is our chance to find any stiff points we might be experiencing and just identify them. Open up your chest, start bringing in awareness to the muscles in your back, the muscles in your belly. We're going to bring chin to chest now. Feel the length in the back of your neck. And looking up, teeth closed lightly together, chin to ceiling. Chin to chest, chin to ceiling. And one more here, chin to chest, and chin to ceiling. Come to neutral. Now we're going to do head rolls, hitting all of those landmarks. Pay attention to the space in between these points and really feel out each little space in between the landmarks, and observe where you have tension. Observe where maybe there's a little bit of discomfort. Try to put a little bit of breath in that space and change directions. Carry a lot of stress in our neck and our shoulders. Let's wring out the shoulders a little bit. This one's called a shoulder corkscrew. Let's start with the arms extended, palms facing up towards the ceiling or the sky, and shrug your shoulders up and then press them down. And shrug and press. One more, shrug, press. Let's do one side, just the right shoulder, shrug, and press it down. Just isolating one arm. One more. And just the other side. It's totally normal if you have different levels of coordination from one side than the other. Now let's turn it into that corkscrew. So coming back to our right side, You're going to shrug, dump the shoulder forward, rotate internally at the elbow and then at the wrist. So treat your arms like they're a washcloth and you're wringing all the water out, and then uncoil at the shoulder, elbow, wrist. Other side, shrug, dump at the shoulder, internally rotate at the elbow and the wrist. Reach those fingers in opposing directions and uncoil. Good, let's go the other side. Shrug, dump, twist, and uncoil. Other side, shrug, dump, twist, and uncoil. So move through side to side at whatever pace feels accessible for you, whatever pace feels good for you. Take one more on each side from wherever you are. And go ahead and drop your arms. Come into some shoulder rolls, release any tension that might have built up in the shoulders, in the upper traps. And much like those head circles, we're thinking of all of those landmarks and hitting them. And other direction, shrugging up, releasing, and then pressing down. Same as always, move at the pace that feels good for you. Awesome. Hands on your hips, push your hips to the side, up to the center and the other side. So we're just finding our lateral movement here in your hips. And then let's tilt your tailbone and push your pelvis forward. And then release it back. And push it forward. Release it back. So we're coming into a hinge and then a pelvic thrust. Really drives me insane. Sorry, I had to. I'm getting the you're crazy look from the 12-year-old right now. All right, so we've got the sides, we've got the front and the back. Now let's bring it in circles. Remembering those points you just hit, we're still trying to hit them. Really reaching and pressing, and come the other way. We're going to get our lateral leg swings. So find your stability on your post leg. Keep a soft bend in the knee. And keep the pacing and the force that you're swinging at in alignment with, yeah, I see it, thank you. We're getting some technical help from the side here. Awesome, and then foot rolls. Sorry about the train. We live right on the tracks if this is the first time, this is your first time joining. I totally didn't even introduce myself for the folks that are over on the YouTube that don't know who I am. Apologies, it's something I do pretty frequently. My name's Elliot. He, they, personal trainer here in Los Angeles. Thank you for joining us live. All right. Let's take some little hops, just nice and gentle on the balls of the feet. We're just kind of getting the heart rate going. I'm going to set my timer for 60 seconds here. If jumping doesn't feel good for your body, that's okay. You can do some heel raises, or you can do maybe some steps, or just whatever feels good for you. There's another movement that you're like, you know what? I know that this movement's good for my body to get warmed up. Then go ahead and use that movement. Think about bringing some tightness to your belly by squeezing your belly button back towards your spine, and breathe. Maybe you bring your shoulders into it, shrugging and then pressing them down. Maybe pantomime like you have a jump rope. All of these are acceptable. Nice work, you got this. Getting some warmth building up in the calves, that's totally normal. You have 20 seconds left here. Inhale and exhale. Try to keep a steady pace, but if you need to shift your pace up or down, that's okay. Can't wait to show you our movements today. Some of them are familiar if you've been coming to our classes. 3, 2, and 1. Some of them are going to feel new. I always like to loosen up my calves after that kind of movement by stepping back and pressing through the heel. And then just come up and switch and do the other one. If you have a different calf stretch that you enjoy, go ahead and take some space right now to do that stretch. Know that there are no really solid rules here that state that you have to do the movement I'm doing. All right. We're ready to get down on the ground. So we're going to come down to the ground and we're basically going to stay there for the rest of the hour. So I'm going to shift that down just a little bit so I can give you a view that's a little bit closer. Now I'm going to teach you each movement. We're going to run through a set of each movement on each side, and then we're going to put it all together. And the format for this class is pretty fast paced, even though the movement's all down on the ground. So we're going to do each movement for 60 seconds. We're going to move through all 5 movements with little to no rest. So that stated, if you do need to take some rest, some moments of recovery in between any of these movements, please do so. Stop for water whenever you want it or need it. And other than that, I'm not going to assign any rest until we completed the whole set of 5 movements once. And we're going to take about 30-ish seconds and we're going to do it again. All right? Hydrate. I'm just going to give us a little check-in on time so that I'm aware of where we are. We're doing great. I love it when we're running on time. All right, so your first movement is a front step with a reach. Now, I'm going to do this starting off in a high plank, and I will show you a variation where you don't have to plank if planking isn't great for your body. So if you're doing this movement from a high plank, you're going to come into a push-up plank, and you're going to step forward. I'm going to step forward with my left foot first because that's the side that's facing you. And foot replaces hand, and drive your elbow back as you look forward. From here, you're going to reach. So I'm driving into the ground and I'm reaching for the ceiling as I look at my hand, and then bring that hand down, step back, and switch. My right hand will replace my right foot will replace my right hand, look up and forward, and exhale, reach. So this one's gonna ring you out, it's gonna feel great. And for the 60 seconds, we'll just be alternating sides of this front step with a reach. Now, if a high plank is too challenging for you right now, or maybe you have wrist issues or shoulder issues, or for any reason you can't do a high plank, you can do this movement from hands and knees, where you step up and reach right here, right? So this is just shortening the lever. This is still really great work here. So if at any point that other variation feels too intense, then you can do that variation. So let's do a full minute of that so you can get a feel for what a minute of this work feels like. So go ahead and set up your high plank. I'm going to start the time in 3, 2, and begin. All right, so I'm going to work through here, and then I'll switch partway through to give you a front view. So learning the movements tonight, this evening, is our warm-up. So we did our joint prep, and now us learning these movements and working through them is how we're preparing our body for the full workout. So I'm just turning this way so that you're getting a different view. Everybody learns in a different way, and I know some of you visual learners appreciate having different views, different angles and perspectives. Make sure you're exhaling. Inhale as you step back. Exhale when that foot strikes. And maybe an additional exhale on your twist. And time. Nice work. Go ahead and take a wrist relief if you need it. Backs of the hands together here. I forgot to set my watch for exercise. And does the workout count if you don't set your watch? It totally counts, but I like closing my rings. All right, so that's your front step with a reach. That's your first movement for the evening. Our second movement is an under switch. So I'm going to show you 2 variations of this one as well. Feel free to switch this movement up however works for your body. So for the under switch, we're going to start in a crab. So you're on your hands, on your feet, pull your shoulders back. And for the first variation I'm going to show you, you're going to start with your butt off the ground. All right. And we're going to do switching underneath. So the leg's going to switch underneath the body. So pick up your left hand and your right foot, and then pivot on the toe and come into a beast. And then from here, you're going to pick up left foot, right hand, left foot travels underneath, and back into a crab. Right? Then we're just going to reverse it. Boom. And boom. So take these nice and slow. Now, if doing that full under switch is not great for you, or you feel like, you're not to the point where you're comfortable holding all your body weight, we can start with our booty on the ground, and you're going to pick up right foot, left hand, and then still get on that left toe and just push yourself over, and you can guide yourself with your leg on the ground the whole way around. And then the inverse is true going the other way. So you're going to pick up your right hand, and then we're going to be picking up the left knee and coming back to our booty. And then the other direction, left leg underneath to come to hands and knees. And then we're going to bring the right leg underneath to come back to our butt. So it's like if you were sitting on the ground and you were trying to turn over to stand up, or maybe you're getting down on the ground and you come down to your hands and knees and you want to get in a seated position, and you roll over on your hip. All right. So let's try 60 seconds of that one in whichever variation you want to work through. I'm going to do the full variation for this set. Starting your time in 3, 2, and begin. So I'm going to start in crab, and I'm going to right leg under switch and left leg under switch. And then I'm going to left leg under switch and right leg under switch. As you feel like you're building up proficiency in this movement, feel free to speed up. Or maybe you started speeding up and you're like, you know what, I think I might need to slow down. It's all right too. The lower that you keep your hips, the more challenging this is going to be if you have your hips picked up off the ground. So keep that in mind. I'm going to start to work this with the booty on the ground variation, so that those of you that are doing that variation can have a visual cue to the knees, to the butt, back to the knees, into the booty. The work to find that space where the chest is open, shoulders are pulled back, and time. All right, that's your under switch. We had a little switch that over. There we go. All right. We've got a reaching bridge next. So you get to get off of your hands and come to your back. And let's start by just establishing a bridge. So from here, you're going to drive your flat feet into the ground, squeeze your butt, and press your hips up off the mat. So that's your bridge. Now what's the reach, you say? So the reach from the bridge, I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to reach for my right ankle. I'm going to take my left arm. I'm going to reach over and across my body. So reaching in opposite directions. And then come back. I'm going to swim my left hand down to my ankle and my right hand up. And then I'm going to reach over and across. So some of you right now are saying, I can't get into that bridge. What do I do? Or I've got low back problems and I'm scared to bridge. Just work it from the ground with your butt on the ground, okay? Still reaching for that ankle, and then just reach across your body as you're reaching down towards your ankle. And you can work through this stretch and twist. And you squeeze your belly. Even if you're doing this on the ground, I want you to be able to feel your belly stabilizing. So let's work through 60 seconds of this. I'm going to do that bridging variation, starting in 3, 2, and begin. So press your hips up and reach for the same side ankle, swimming across, reaching up and over your body. So you're going to inhale as you transition and exhale to reach. This one feels really nice And as we progress through multiple sets of this, you're going to be like, oh boy, I have a new favorite movement. Now I'm actually striving to get on top of the front of my shoulder. So I'm almost smashing the deltoid into the ground to get that nice loosening up of the tissue in the shoulder, the front of the shoulder. This reaching across and over is a nice stretch for some of the muscles in the side of the low back. And it's a nice, solid contraction for the low back. Good. And bring that down. If you need to hug your knees into your chest, hug your knees into your chest. Take whatever relief feels good for you. Next, we have floor scorpion, which for me is like the epitome of relief movement. So floor scorpion starts on your tummy. I'll show you this way and facing the other way. Starting on your tummy, tee off your arms. You're going to pick up your right foot, lift your right thigh off the ground, and then rotate your hips to stack your right hip on top of your left hip, and then reach all the way around to touch the floor on the other side. Inhale to come back to center, picking up the other foot, lift the thigh, stack the hips, and reach. Okay, so transitioning side to side, you're going to exhale as you reach and touch. And if you need a little more support, then you can bring that other hand in to support you instead of staying teed. So let's work a minute. You're already doing it, so I'm going to set the minute. I'm going to check in with my Zoom people here and make sure that everyone's okay. And begin. So you're going to lift the foot, lift the thigh, stack the hip, and reach. Each reach is an exhale. Let me know if you're having any issues there, Zoom people. And keep it going. You've got 30 seconds left here. So stack the hips and reach. You should be feeling a stretch in the chest and across the front of your shoulder. I'm going to come down and give you this view from the other angle. Right in here, exhale. Inhale to transition and exhale. I do this movement every single day. It's one of my favorites. If you've been in classes with me for a while, you've seen this movement. And exhale. And time. Good. There's your 60 seconds of floor scorpion. You're welcome for that one. All right. One more movement, then we get to get into the actual workout portion of this. I hope that you're warm. We have a pike to bear squat. So excuse my dog out there causing a fuss. So we're going to start in a high plank. Coming into pike, you're going to lift your hips, keeping your legs straight, staying high on your toes, and then bend your knees like you're dropping your hips back to your heels, and then lift back up and back into a plank. We're going to go into pike, bear squat, and plank. So if planking isn't great, you can come here and you can hike from here and then just bend your knees and come back down to the ground. Okay, this is an option as well. Or maybe you're just working on coming up into a plank and then coming back down. Or maybe you're just hiking without the bear squat. So all of these are totally acceptable variations. I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the clock here to work through this. We've already been doing it for about half a minute. And begin. So if you're doing the full variation, bear squat, hike, plank, and breathe. My knees are just floating above the ground for the bear squat. But if you find that you need to kind of have that moment to touch in with the ground and touch your knees all the way to the ground, that's totally acceptable as well. As you get stronger, you can work on not touching the ground all the way, if that's what feels good for you. 3, 2, finish out whichever rep you're on. and 1. All right, those are all 5 of our movements. Anyone there here in the Zoom has any questions, you can unmute, you can use the chat. Let me know if you need me to go back over something. Let me know if you have questions, anything coming up. If not, then go ahead and get some water, take some wrist relief, take whatever relief is going to feel good for you. We're going to cycle through each one of those movements for 1 minute each. We've already had some practice doing each one for 1 minute, so you have an idea of what it's going to feel like and maybe what variation you may need to do. So starting at the top with the front step with the reach, I'm going to face this way this time just so I'm not looking at the wall. And setting us up for 1 minute. I'm not seeing any questions. So starting in 3, 2, and 1. High plank and front step, reach, and front step, reach. Shift your gaze up and forward. Then in between your hands. As you're reaching, you're looking at your top hand. So as my foot strikes and my hand comes up, I'm driving my elbow back. You can see on this side here, driving it back, reaching up. And I'm coming back into driving it back. So I'm engaging the muscles in my back. So many different places you can put an exhale here. I get asked all the time, where should I inhale? Where should I exhale? Ultimately, put it where it feels right for you. Likely your instincts are correct. The general rule that I follow is placing it on the contraction or at the point of difficulty or a point of impact. Good. That's 60 seconds in the front step with reach. We're going to do the under switch next. So we're coming to a supine position, meaning we're facing up, superior, top, up. And I'm going to restart our minute in 3, 2, and 1. So whether you're doing this with your hips off the ground or your hips on the ground, just take your time. I know some of you have done this movement before, and some of you, it's your very first time. Don't worry about my pacing. It's mine alone. Good. And breathe. So brace your belly and feel your core, stabilize your torso for this rotational movement. Think about corkscrewing your hands into the ground. A little slit there on the wood. And breathe. Remember, it's okay if you're coming to here and then to here. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. Reaching bridge is next. So from your back, set up your bridge. Starting your time, you're going to reach for the ankle and reach for the opposite corner of the room. Swim the arms to switch. Think about keeping a full extension in your hip flexors with your tailbone tucked so that you're nice and flat in the low back. And exhale. Getting a nice stretch across the shoulders, sliding down into the hips. Our shoulders and our hips are connected with fascial tissue. Things that happen in the hips, tightness that happen in the hips can translate up to the shoulders and the shoulders back down to the hips. So these kind of movements help us feel how connected they are. Exhale. Inhale to transition and exhale. 3, 2, and 1. If you need to hug your knees into your chest, then hug your knees into your chest. We've got floor scorpion next. So if you're feeling really hurt going right now, this might help bring it down for you. Tee off your arms and pick up your foot and exhale to reach. So the more you reach with the outside of your knee, the deeper that stretch is going to be, the deeper the twist is going to be. take a depth of twist that feels good for you. Try to move through these end ranges, keeping your belly contracted and tight to support your back, keeping it engaged. And exhale. Lots of rotational stuff tonight. I like to use rotational movement to help reset my mind, reset my emotions. And just like we talked about with the shoulder corkscrews, just wring the body out, wring the mind out, get all that old water out. And exhale. And time. Beautiful work. You're almost through your first set. We've got that pike to bear squat next. So remember, there are all sorts of variations that you can work on. Take whichever variation works for you. Starting in high plank in 3, 2, and 1. So high plank, pike, and bear squat, and then shoulders over wrists. Pike, driving your hands down through the ground, and then lift your hips. Find the length in the back of your legs, that stretching sensation in the backs of your thighs and your calves. Create length in the posterior chain, that back side of your body, and engagement in the front side of the body. My sweaty feet are slipping on my mat, so that's why you're seeing me kind of pop my feet forward a little bit more. You make whatever adjustments you feel like you need to make. And remember, taking whichever variation feels right for you. Nice work, you got this. You're almost there. I know when I said it's keeping us all on the ground today, and time, you were like, ooh, all right. That doesn't mean easy. It just means that we're taking some support. I'm going to give you 30 seconds of recovery time, and then we're going to go back into the beginning of this. So your 30 seconds is starting now. It's a good time to get some water, maybe dab your sweat, pet your dog, ask any questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute.
Even though your dog just walked out of the room.
We got a, from Ari says, phew, I know. This move restore format is tricksy, right? You're like, oh, okay, it's all on the ground. These are, and then when you start putting them together with no rest in between, like, so Ari over here in Zoom says, liking the twisting though feels good after being at a desk. Yes, exactly. So this is gonna help give you that reset. That 30 seconds goes by so fast when it's rest. We're gonna come into the front step with reach. I'm gonna give y'all the front view this time, setting up a 60-second timer in 3, 2, and begin. So high plank if you're starting from high plank, front step, then reach, bring it down, and then reach. And go. So all of these movements, you're gonna start to notice there's a lot happening in your core, in your abdominals. So, I don't know if y'all can hear the ice cream cart honking their horn out there. My 12-year-old is desperately looking for her wallet. You need a mask. Ah, no. Good, keep breathing. You're almost there, you're doing great. And bring it down. Ooh, all right. Under switch is next, so coming into the crab position. I think the running for the ice cream cart is the most exercise she's gotten today in all of her video gaming. All right, 3, 2, and begin. So you're gonna under switch to beast, and then under switch to crab, and then other direction to beast, another direction to crab. So you're making these full rotations. And if you start to get dizzy, you just play with what direction you're going in. You don't have to do it this way, just because I'm doing it this way. And remember, if you're here, and then maybe here, this is totally okay. Wherever you are, okay? Whatever level you're at, maybe you're here, okay? Whatever level you're at, the muscles that we're working to develop are developing. Even if you're doing a different variation than what you see other folks doing. And time. Reaching bridge is next. I love this one for the shoulder, especially for our desk sitters. This really helps open this up from that position we're in on the computer. All right, set up your bridge and reach. Press actively into the front of your hips as you reach. Exhale. And exhale. I'm going to turn this way just so you all have a different view of what's happening in the arms here. And then I'll give you a view with my head pointed at the camera as well. See that reaching and external rotation and then reaching across. So I'm going to turn this way now. Bridge and reach. And reach. So I'm pointing my ankle, rotating, and then reaching across. All right, back to our side view. And one more, bring it down. All right, moving right through, floor scorpion is next. Onto your tummy. This is a prone position when you're facing down. 60 seconds is starting now. Reach. And exhale, reach. So ideally, move with your breath. But if you find that you're getting a particular benefit or some nice relief to something by holding that position, then by all means, freaking hold it. You're doing this for you, right? So if something feels like it's good for your body right now, take it. Oh, we got a doggy incoming. She might change her mind. She changed her mind. She'll be over at some point in the hour. Don't worry, y'all will get to see her. Keep on moving, keep exhaling as you reach. And reach. If you're finding that you're really open and you want to do a straight leg variation, that's going to carry this a little bit deeper. So I'll explore that one a little bit more next time. Let's get our last movement for this, the pike to bear squat. I'm going to set up your minute, so come into your plank in 3, 2, and begin. Come up and pike and bear squat. I might end up falling flat on my face because my neck is. Sit at the table. It's little parenting moments, y'all. This is what this kind of work from home looks like. I know different folks doing different kinds of work are getting all sorts of experiences, those with children at home, learning how to do your job with your whole family in the house watching you. Nice work. Drop the knees, lift the hips, and then work it forward. Find your core in here. What's your core's relationship to this movement? And take it down. All right, 30 seconds of recovery. We're going to do this one more time. Get into our 30-second timer. How's everyone feeling? Everyone with me so far? It's really hot. Well, it's not as hot here as it was this weekend, but it seems like everyone is still okay. So we've got about 7 seconds to get back into position for our final set. So remember, we're coming back to our front step with a twist that starts at a high plank if you're working from plank position. All right, your 60 seconds is starting in 3, 2, and 1. Front step, twist, and switch. Yeah, these twists are feeling really good. I'm really grateful for these twists this evening. This is definitely helping shake out some of that stuff that I was working through earlier today. Grateful for my body. Grateful for the space that I have to move my body in. Grateful for the support I have from the folks in my household, for getting my movement in. Grateful for my exercise community. That's you. Who's helped keep me moving through this 5 months. 3, 2, and 1. All right, under switch is next. Take any relief positions. Wrist relief is one that I recommend. We're gonna start your under switch in 3, 2, and 1. Opening up my chest, and my right leg goes under, and then my left leg. And then left leg goes under, and then right leg. Right, left, left, right. I'm concentrating on really bracing my belly throughout this, for this set. Maybe you're concentrating on your shoulders, keeping your shoulders pressed out of your ears. Maybe you're concentrating on keeping them pulling towards each other, your shoulder blades. Maybe you're focusing on how high your knees are from the ground. You can pick any of these. You can pick all of them, you can pick none of them. Maybe you're just trying to move for 60 seconds, regardless of what that looks like. These are all okay spaces to be in. 3, 2, and 1. All right, coming to reaching bridge. So set yourself up to start bridging. If you're bridging, if you're doing a non-bridging variation, that's cool. 3, 2, and 1. And reaching and reaching and exhaling. There's like a $100 bill or maybe a letter from someone you really love just within reach. You're trying to reach over to grab it. Whatever motivates you to reach. Maybe, I think mine tonight is a dark chocolate peanut butter cup. You're gonna reach for that.
Or the end of COVID.
You've got behind the scenes comments going on this evening.
Yeah, I didn't know, that's a good one.
Told you that you'd get a little pork chop shot before the hour was up. Good. Finding that space in here too where maybe getting a little bit of a stretch in my neck. By shifting my gaze toward my hand. You'd be amazed how much further you can reach just by looking at where you're reaching. Bring it down. Take the knees to chest if you need it, if it feels good, or just if you want to. 4 scorpion is next. So you're gonna roll over to your tummy, tee off your arms, and you're gonna say hello to your sweat angel on the floor. All right, 3, 2, and 1. At least Bridget thinks my jokes are funny. At least for now, she does. I'm gonna do the straight leg variation that I teased about last time. Now, I'm a lot warmer than I was at the beginning, so I feel confident about spilling my water all over the floor while I'm teaching class. I also feel confident about taking a little bit of a deeper twist. I'm just gonna put that towel over it and then take care of it when I'm done with y'all. So, and how about closing that lid? All right, there we go. And reaching with the straight leg. So only take the straight leg if you feel good about it. If it feels too deep, too intense, then don't worry about it. Got this. And time. All right. One more movement. It's the bear squat. Pike to bear squat. So set up your high plank. Let's hit this one right now in 3, 2, and 1. Lifting the hips and squat. Good. Nice work, y'all. Really drive your hands into the ground and feel how powerful your lats are in your back. Pull your lats together. Feel how your shoulders stabilize as your shoulder blades hug in towards each other, towards your spine. Find that relief of the stretch in the backs of your legs. I like to drive my heels down in order to get a deeper stretch, but still staying mindful that my focus is on the balls of my feet. Creating length through the back of your neck. And pushing your shoulders away from your ears, even though the inclination is to shrug them up towards your ears. Finish the set that you're on and bring it down. Oh, all right, there's 3 sets. Go ahead and take a full 60 seconds of recovery time and take some water. We're gonna come in to some cool down movements. I know that was a whole workout of almost all cool down movements, but it doesn't feel like it when you put them all together, does it?
And go through them without a break.
How's everyone in here in Zoom doing? All right, clean up my water a little bit. It's gonna smell nice and minty in here as I put essential oil, peppermint essential oil in my water. All right. So we're gonna move into to slow our heart rate and get back into baseline. All right, that's the end of our 60 seconds. Let's start seated. Now, this is going to start as a hamstring stretch, but I really love this one. We're getting what's called the QL, this muscle in the side of the low back that when it tightens up can cause a lot of discomfort in the low back. It gets tight for a lot of different reasons. If you're a side sleeper, it can get tight from sleeping on your side, driving a lot, like carrying things on one side of your body. These are all things that contribute to hip hiking that causes that tight QL. So I'm going to extend my left leg first, and with my knee and my toe pointing up towards the ceiling, turn your sternum towards your knee, and then reach for your toes. If you can't get your toes, you can get your shin, you can get your thigh, maybe use a strap or a belt and put it around your foot so that you can grab whatever feels good. If you want to get deeper into stretching this hamstring, the back of your thigh, squeeze the top of your thigh. See how that feels. Yeah, right? Some good stuff. All right, so I've got my left arm touching my left foot, so I'm going to reach my right hand up towards the ceiling as I look at it, and I'm going to reach actively. So that important thing that you wanted to grab when you were doing your reaching bridges is now on the ceiling, and you were allowed to reach for it. And breathe nice and deep. Now, as I'm reaching, I want to pull on my foot. So my arms are doing 2 different things. One is pulling, one is reaching, and it is pinging that stretch right into the QL. You'll feel where your low back kind of connects to your hip. That muscle connects to the top of the back of your pelvis and then to your bottom rib. And bring it back down into your hamstring stretch. So tight hammies can also lock the low back up. And all of these things get tight from too much sitting. So I shouldn't say too much, from a lot of sitting. So if you're sitting for work, sitting at a desk, or maybe you're spending a lot of time at home and sitting, then these muscles can get shortened and cause some discomfort in our body. So these are movement stretches that you can do every day to help loosen those guys up. So knee toes pointed at the ceiling on the other side. Sternum is going towards our knee. And you're going to hinge at your hip. Grab your foot if you can. I'm using the pulling of my foot and the pushing of my foot into my hand to get a little bit deeper into my hamstring stretch. So as my hand is pulling, my foot is pushing back. That's activating the top of my thigh. And I'm going to reach and look at it. And as I actively reach, actively pull, thinking about using my bottom rib lifting up and back to help open up my chest even more. And breathe. I had just a tiny little pop there that felt so nice. Bring it back down to your hamstring. See if you can get a little deeper in your hamstring now that that QL is loosening up a little bit. Good, checking in on our time. I just want to get one more movement here that involves another stretch, another twist rather. Bringing the feet together, butterfly stretch. Actively press your knees down towards the ground. Probably feeling that stretch on the inside of your thighs, your adductors. And then go ahead and reach. Since we're in this twisting mode this evening and I've gotten feedback that that's feeling good, we're just going to keep twisting. I can twist all night long. Keep your belly tight as you shift. We're going to take one more on each side. Reach. And reach. Go ahead and release it. All right. For everyone on YouTube, thank you for joining. If you want to get in a little more close and personal, then you can join TG-ENBY Project on Patreon, and at any level get access to the Zoom. I'm going to sign off on YouTube right now and give my Zoomers, my patrons, a